So I've been very fortunate to travel to many places around the world. And I just got back from a vacation in Italy, which is super rare for me because I rarely take a break. But after 2 years full-time in the business, I wanted to get away a little bit. Every time I travel, I learn something new. And this trip was no exception. When I go away, I try to talk to as many people as I possibly can. And I'm going to tell you guys about 5 different people that I met from 5 different parts of the world that taught me something. So the first one was an Uber driver on the way to Sorrento, Italy, which is a small town on the Amalfi Coast in the southern part of Italy. What I learned from this Uber driver is just the way of life that he talked about. All he kept talking about was how calm their life was, how they love their life. They're not worried about money or, stressing about what's next. They just live with their family and their loved ones, and they enjoy their day-to-day life. So from this small, short conversation with him in the hour Uber ride, I really took away just what really matters in life. It's those TikToks or Instagram reels you guys probably see where couples might say, this was the whole point, or forgot this was the whole point. Well, sometimes in life, especially in business, when you're going nonstop for 2 years, you get caught up in the day-to-day grind and the rat race hamster wheel of trying to increase your revenue and always getting more clients. So this guy really put it into perspective for me on day one that life is really about just the relationships that you make and the time that you spend with those relationships. So the second one was we were on a ferry ride to Positano, which is another small town in the Amalfi Coast. And we were talking to this couple from Quebec. I believe it's in Montreal, Canada. And it's funny, when you don't need to know people for that long for them to open up to you. So this couple was telling us how their story and how they've grown up together. And the one guy was kind of saying how he's been through a lot and they kind of met during a dark time in his life, but they were just teaching us about the ups and downs of marriage and how it takes a lot of work. I think, this is not my normal content, but it's important to just for relationship building. They were teaching us about different communication styles, and they have a little kid at home. So they were saying that they were taking this trip to kind of work on themselves. It's hard to get time away from your kid when you get married. So, and then the lady was an influencer, and something interesting that she was doing was she only had 4,000 followers, but she basically blogs everything on her Instagram, like 2 or 3 posts a day, just talking about her daily life. And one thing that resonated with me was she was saying that I don't care how many followers I have. I really just want to have a connection with the current followers that I do have. Because if you really think about it, 4,000 people in a room, if you're doing a speech, is a shit ton of people. So that put that in perspective. Even if you have one person viewing your content, it's really, really worth it. So the next one, I was in the Naples airport, or I was in the Naples train station about to take a train to Florence. And there was this 60-year-old couple, and they were from Antwerp, Belgium. This lady really surprised me. So if you don't know, in Italy, coffee is very different. I was just explaining it to some people. But I like iced coffee, but they gave me this espresso, and it was kind of this frozen thing, and I didn't even know what it was. And I look at this woman from Antwerp, and I'm like, do you know what this coffee is? And those coffee stir things? So she takes my coffee, she dips the thing into the coffee and tastes it. And it just made me laugh and smile because it's just such a different culture over there in Europe where it's much more of a collectivist and family-oriented environment, whereas in America, it's much more individualistic. And to tie that together, in America, like say New York City or Philly, if somebody dipped a coffee, like a picker into your coffee, you'd probably get mad at them and throw it out. But I was like pleasantly surprised that she did that. And it was almost just like a funny moment and it was normal for her. So that was just cool to me, just from meeting a random person and having her dip a thing in my coffee. I don't know. I just found that interesting. The next one, we got to Florence, and if you don't know about Italy, especially Florence, the roads are super tight. So the Ubers cost like €100, which is like $120. So getting Ubers take a long time, and they're super expensive. So we were trying to get an Uber because we were 20 minutes away from our Airbnb that we were staying. There was this mom and daughter from Arkansas, and they were just standing on the side of the road. One thing I've learned in life is don't be afraid to just talk to strangers, because you never know what's going to come out of it, who you're going to meet, what they can provide for you. So I just started talking to this mom and daughter. Turns out they had an Uber, a van waiting for them. And because I was nice to them, they let me hop in the van with them, and we drove to their hotel. Dropped us off 10 minutes from my Airbnb. I start trying to walk to mine. I turn the corner. I see them lost in the alley trying to find their spot. So then I ended up helping them find their spot. But I tried to offer her money for the car. She didn't take the money. But just a message of talk to people. You never know what's gonna happen from it. And got to hear their story from Arkansas. So that was cool too. And the last one, I was in Venice, and there was a waiter from Albania, and he was telling me that in Albania, there's not a lot of opportunities for work. He said most of the young males leave Albania. They try to go to America. They try to go to Italy to try to provide for their family. And he was a 21-year-old guy saying he literally left his family, went to Venice, and now he's being a waiter trying to provide for his family. So just put it in perspective for me, I think we take for granted how lucky we are to live in America. I've been to Vietnam, and guys tell me how you have to spend $150 to apply for a U.S. visa, and most times it gets denied. So I think it really just put it in perspective. Living in America, the opportunities that we have to go after what you want to do every day. And a lot of people like Albania, for example, there's not much opportunities for work. So you have to leave your family to go pursue it elsewhere. So that really put that in perspective for me. So I know I probably rambled a little bit. This is a different type of video, but I encourage you guys to get out of your comfort zone, travel the world, and most importantly, just talk to as many people as you can. Even in America, just talk to random strangers, because my guy Nick Deach is behind the camera right here. We literally just started talking in the line at a bar, and like now we're really good friends and we work together. So I think, yeah, that advice that parents give you, maybe when you're a kid, you shouldn't talk to strangers, but once you're of a certain age, just talk to people. You never know what might come out of it. Let me know what you guys think of this type of content. If you like this style video, and appreciate you guys. When you see this, we might be at 10K. So make sure you subscribe, like, and comment for more. Peace.